Hi friends, welcome back to 5 Minute Modern. My name is Cindy, and today we're taking a look at the architectural utopia that was never built, Frank Lloyd Wright's Broadacre City. Today, Frank Lloyd Wright is often regarded as the greatest architect in American history. He made a name for himself at the turn of the century with his idea of organic design, architecture which was well integrated into its natural surroundings, harmoniously organized, and stripped of unnecessary ornamentation. But by the early 1930s, many in the avant-garde circles in New York considered Wright to be passé. In 1932, the Museum of Modern Art held its first exhibition on architecture, and the curators chose to focus on what was then termed the international style, that is, the sleek modernism of European architects like Walter Gropius and Mies van der Rohe of Germany's Bauhaus Design School, and Wright's rival, the French modernist Le Corbusier. Wright himself was a footnote in the exhibition, with one of the curators remarking that he'd only been included out of courtesy and recognition of his past work. Earlier that same year, Le Corbusier had published an article in New York Times Magazine envisioning a city of the future. Le Corbusier's vision called for rows of uniform skyscrapers, a standardization that would bring order and conformity to the chaotic and discordant design of New York. But Wright had been working on an urban vision of his own. He released a book in 1932 titled The Disappearing City, outlining his vision for a new model for city planning. He had a radically democratic ideal, believing in establishing land ownership as a universal human right, with each family to be allotted their own broad acre. It was this central concept which inspired Wright to name his model Broadacre City. But it's worth pointing out that this ideal was imperfect from the outset. As historian Juliet Kinchin notes, Wright's ostensibly progressive plan to distribute land made no acknowledgement of barriers of race, class, gender, or disability, at a time when prejudice, especially against people of color, was legally and socially enforced throughout society. Wright's plan presumed financial ability to own a car and a home, a financial ability which was beyond many in the US during the Great Depression. Moreover, cars were central to Wright's vision. He was a great lover of automobiles and of driving, and even envisioned driving through Broadacre as a civilizing experience. So although Wright envisioned wide roads and highways to eliminate the gridlocked traffic of the city, he made no accommodation for public transit and designed the city to be widely dispersed so that driving was a necessity. Aside from these issues, it was a deeply iconoclastic design given the trends in architecture in the previous decade. The 1920s had seen skyscrapers dominate American architectural planning, solving problems of density by building upwards. But Wright found skyscrapers revolting. He believed they were monotonous, that they plunged the streets into darkness, and that their neo-Gothic or Art Deco ornamentations were wasteful excesses of the city's wealthy elite. There was a single skyscraper in Broadacre City, included by Wright as an intended compromise with the city dwellers who preferred close-quarters apartment living. But for the most part, Wright's plan for Broadacre was pointedly horizontal, emphasizing calmness and connection to nature. Wright hoped to find a balance between rugged individualism and democratic equality, core values which he hoped would both be enacted by his design. With the help of architectural students from his Taliesin Fellowship, Wright built a scale model of Broadacre City which he exhibited throughout New York, alongside display panels emphasizing the project's egalitarian ideals. The model sparked immense debate and brought Wright back into the spotlight. One of Wright's apprentices at Taliesin, Edgar Kaufman Jr., encouraged his prosperous father to finance the creation of Broadacre City models, and to hire Wright to design the family's summer home, Fallingwater. Completed in 1937, the home is now widely regarded as Wright's masterpiece. Wright went on to develop some of his best-known works in the succeeding decades, including the Guggenheim Museum, which was completed in 1959. In 1956, Wright completed construction on a skyscraper in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, evidently having outgrown his distaste for skyscrapers by that point. Still, he continued to experiment with Broadacre City for the rest of his life. The year before his death in 1959, Wright published The Living City, which envisioned a Broadacre of the future, complete with futuristic cars and drones. Broadacre was never developed, being riddled with impracticalities right from the beginning. Returning to Juliet Kinchin, she closes her study of Broadacre by noting that although the project itself was never realized, we have seen many of Wright's ideas come to pass. Many of the science fiction-esque touches Wright included in The Living City have taken shape in the form of delivery drones and self-driving cars. And already by the time The Living City was published, there were interstate highways allowing for faster and smoother car travel, and ever-expanding suburbs, which indeed allowed some families to have their own Broadacre. But if perhaps these developments have improved life for a select set of privileged individuals, I wonder if they have improved society as a whole. It's fair to consider Broadacre City a failed experiment, but I think it was an experiment worth trying. I've shared before about living in Los Angeles, a beautiful city, but a city that faces a complex set of housing and affordability issues. Broadacre City may be unable to address these issues, but I'll ask you, is there an urban model that can improve life for everyone in the city? How can design rise alongside politics to meet these crucial challenges of our day? I honestly don't know, so I'd love to hear in the comments what you think. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you learned something new. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.